First contact anomaly. The Horizon's Edge Observatory hung in low Earth orbit like a silver spider, its long sensor arrays stretching outward from the central habitation ring. It was humanity's most advanced deep space monitoring station, operated by a rotating crew of 12 scientists and engineers. Most days were filled with routine observations, cataloging distant celestial bodies, and monitoring the cosmic background radiation. Today was not most days. Dr. Ileana Chen floated in the central observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that dominated the chamber. Around her, the rest of the senior staff hovered in zero gravity, expressions ranging from confusion to alarm. "Run it again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Technical Director Marcus Okafor nodded, his fingers dancing across his tablet, displaying telemetry from the last 18 hours. The hologram flickered, then showed a time-lapse view of the outer solar system. A small red dot appeared at the edge of the display, moving inward at an impossible speed. First detected at 3:17 Greenwich Mean Time, Marcus explained. Initially registered as instrument error, but confirmed by 3 separate array clusters. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, the station's astrophysicist, shook his head in disbelief. "That velocity, it's breaking at least 4 laws of physics that I'm aware of." "What is it?" asked Commander Eva Rodriguez, the military liaison. "Unknown," Ileana replied, zooming in on the object. Size approximately 340 meters in length, cylindrical with irregular protrusions. Composition: indeterminate. Our scans can't penetrate its exterior. "A ship," Eva suggested, her posture stiffening. "Or a probe," added Sanjay, "but definitely artificial. Its trajectory is too precise, too controlled for a natural object." Marcus cleared his throat. "The most concerning aspect is its course. It's heading directly toward Earth. Current velocity suggests arrival in approximately 47 hours. A heavy silence fell over the room. Humanity had long discussed the possibility of first contact, but now that it appeared imminent, no one quite knew what to feel. "Have we attempted communication?" Ileana asked. Communications specialist Aisha Mbiki nodded. "Every possible frequency, standard greeting protocols established by SATI, mathematical sequences, even simple binary. No response." Commander Rodriguez pushed away from the wall she'd been anchored to. "I'm initiating First Contact Protocol Alpha. This goes to the Security Council immediately." As the station erupted into activity, Ileana remained staring at the hologram, watching the red dot inch closer to the blue marble they called home. Whatever was coming, humanity had less than 2 days to prepare. The news broke worldwide 12 hours later, despite governmental attempts to contain it. Satellite imagery of the approaching object leaked from a junior analyst at the European Space Agency, and within hours, every screen on Earth displayed the same grainy image of the cylindrical anomaly. Markets crashed. Religious leaders issued statements ranging from apocalyptic warnings to calls for peaceful reception. Military forces worldwide went to their highest alert levels. At Horizon's edge, Ileana barely noticed the chaos unfolding below. She had slept for only 2 hours in the past day, focusing entirely on analyzing the data streaming in as the object drew closer. "It's decelerating," Marcus announced, breaking the tense silence that had enveloped the observation deck. "Significant reduction in velocity over the past hour." Sanjay pushed up his glasses. "That confirms intelligent control. No natural force could cause that kind of deceleration." "New trajectory calculation," Isha called out. "It's no longer on a direct course for Earth. It appears to be establishing an orbital insertion path." Commander Rodriguez frowned. "Which means what exactly?" "It means," Ileana said slowly, "that our visitors aren't planning to crash into us. They're parking." The object continued its approach, slowing dramatically as it neared Earth. Military satellites tracked its every movement, weapons systems locked and ready across the globe. Yet the anomaly made no aggressive moves. It simply continued its controlled deceleration until, precisely 39 hours after its detection, it slid gracefully into geostationary orbit above the mid-Atlantic. "Now what?" Aisha whispered, voicing the question on everyone's mind. The answer came 3 minutes later when every communication device on Horizon's Edge activated simultaneously. Tablets, consoles, personal communicators, even the emergency backup systems. Each displayed the same symbol, a complex geometric pattern that shifted and rotated slowly. Ileana stared at the symbol, her scientific mind racing to understand its significance. "They're talking to us. But what are they saying?" Marcus wondered. Before anyone could propose a theory, the symbol changed, becoming more complex, then changing again and again in a rhythmic pattern. "It's a sequence," Sanjay realized. "Mathematical, perhaps." Ileana nodded. "Record everything. We need to establish basic communication parameters." For the next 6 hours, the symbols continued to evolve, growing increasingly intricate. Linguists and mathematicians around the world joined the effort to decipher their meaning, sharing theories and approaches through a hastily established international task force. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: 13-year-old Mai Zong, the daughter of a Chinese quantum physicist who recognized the patterns as four-dimensional representations of quantum states. "She's right," Ileana confirmed after reviewing the girl's work. "They're not just sending us pictures. They're sending concepts, specifically quantum formulations that describe physical laws, universal constants, a common language." Sanjay breathed. "Brilliant." Armed with this insight, the response team crafted their own message using the same principles, acknowledging receipt and requesting further communication. They sent it toward the object using every available transmission method. The response was immediate. A new sequence appeared, followed by something that made everyone in the control room gasp: a perfect three-dimensional representation of the solar system, with Earth highlighted. "They know where they are," Marcus stated the obvious. "And they're letting us know they know," Eva added grimly. The hologram expanded, showing not just Earth, but a rendering of Horizon's Edge itself. Then the image zoomed in further, displaying the exact layout of the observation deck where they stood, with 12 human figures represented in perfect detail. "They can see us," Aisha whispered, instinctively crossing her arms over her chest as if for protection. Before anyone could respond to this unsettling development, the object itself began to change. Its surface, previously smooth and metallic, began to ripple and shift. Sections extended outward, reconfiguring into complex structures that defied engineering logic. "My God," Marcus breathed. "It's transforming." The transformation continued for 20 minutes, until the once cylindrical craft had become a sprawling crystalline structure with multiple extending arms and what appeared to be observation platforms. "New energy readings," Sanjay reported. "Something's happening." As they watched, a small section detached from the main structure, a pod roughly the size of a small car. It began moving on a direct course toward Horizon's Edge. Commander Rodriguez immediately activated the station's defensive protocols, but Ileana raised her hand. "Wait," she urged. "Look at its approach vector. It's deliberately slow, non-threatening. I think this is a formal introduction." The pod stopped 50 meters from the station, hovering silently in space. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then a signal came through on the main communication channel, not symbols this time, but a voice. A human voice, speaking perfect English with an accent no one could quite place. "People of Earth," it said, "we apologize for any alarm our arrival may have caused. We come with peaceful intent, seeking exchange of knowledge. We request permission to send representatives to your station for initial discourse." The control room erupted in confused discussion. How could they speak English? Why did they sound human? Was this some kind of mimicry or translation technology? Commander Rodriguez silenced everyone with a raised hand. "This is Commander Eva Rodriguez of the International Space Station Horizon's Edge. Identify yourselves and your origins. A pause then. We are travelers from beyond your conceptual framework. Names as you understand them do not apply to us. We have studied your communications for some time and adapted our interface accordingly. May we approach? Eva looked to Ileana, who gave a slight nod. Whatever was happening, direct contact seemed inevitable now. Permission granted, Eva replied, her voice tense. Be advised that any hostile action will be met with immediate defensive measures. Understood, came the reply. Preparing transitional entities now. The pod's exterior shimmered, becoming temporarily transparent. Inside, they could see not creatures or beings as they'd expected, but swirling masses of what looked like luminescent gas, constantly shifting in color and density. They're not solid, Sanjay observed, his scientific curiosity overriding his apprehension. At least not in a way we recognize, Ileana agreed. The pod docked with the station's external airlock. Security personnel positioned themselves at the inner door, weapons drawn. Ileana, Eva, Sanjay, and Marcus waited behind them, hearts racing. The airlock cycle completed. The inner door slid open, and humanity had its first face-to-face encounter with extraterrestrial intelligence. They appeared as three humanoid figures, but clearly artificial, their bodies semi-transparent, shifting subtly like contained aurora borealis. Where faces should be, they had smooth, featureless surfaces that occasionally rippled with patterns of light. These are temporary constructs, the center figure explained, its voice seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Our actual forms cannot exist in your physical environment without significant adaptation. We hope these interfaces are acceptable for preliminary contact. Ileana stepped forward, despite Eva's cautioning hand on her arm. They're acceptable, she replied, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. Welcome to Horizon's Edge. I am Dr. Ileana Chen, lead researcher. The central figure inclined what passed for its head. Greetings, Dr. Chen. We have journeyed far to find your species. You are unique in ways you do not yet comprehend. Why have you come to Earth? Eva asked, direct as always. The three visitors exchanged what might have been glances, their surfaces rippling in synchronized patterns. We come because you call to us, the figure on the right answered. Not intentionally, perhaps, but unmistakably. Called to you. Sanjay repeated, confused. How? Your species produces something rare in our experience, the left figure explained. A vibration in the underlying fabric of reality. You call it consciousness, creativity, imagination. We call it the resonance. It drew us across vast distances. Ileana felt a chill run down her spine. You detected our consciousness from wherever you come from. Yes, all three said simultaneously. And now that we have found you, there is much to discuss. The universe is far stranger and more wondrous than you have imagined, and humanity's role in it more significant than you know. As they spoke, the lights throughout the station flickered. Displays showed cascades of data no human had programmed. The visitors were already interfacing with their systems, beginning an exchange that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. And on Earth below, billions of people waited, unaware that their future was being reshaped by a conversation taking place above their heads, a conversation with beings from beyond their conceptual framework, drawn across the stars by the unique resonance of human consciousness. The paradigm shift. Day 3 of contact, and Earth was a planet transformed. Financial markets remained suspended. Religious congregations gathered in unprecedented numbers. Military forces maintained their high alert status, even as diplomatic channels buzzed with constant activity. Aboard Horizon's Edge, Ileana had not slept for more than 2 hours at a stretch. The visitors, who had begun referring to themselves simply as the Resonance, maintained their humanoid forms during direct interactions, but spent much of their time interfaced with the station's systems. They're absorbing information at an impossible rate, Marcus reported, staring at his monitoring screen. They've downloaded almost our entire knowledge base, scientific journals, historical archives, cultural databases, everything. And they're giving back, Sanjay added, gesturing to a separate terminal where complex equations scrolled past too quickly for human eyes to follow. These mathematical proofs alone would advance theoretical physics by decades. Commander Rodriguez remained skeptical. What do they want in return? Nobody travels across the universe for a cultural exchange program. As if in response to her question, the station's power flickered briefly. The holographic display in the center of the room activated, showing Earth with unusual overlays. Energy fields, data networks, weather patterns, all interlinked in ways their visualization software had never shown before. The central resonant appeared in the doorway. We apologize for accessing your systems without formal permission. We are accustomed to more integrated forms of communication. Ileana approached the display. What are you showing us? Your world as it exists beyond your limited perception. The entity explained. The pattern flows of your civilization, its energetic signature in space-time. The display zoomed in, showing major population centers connected by glowing webs of light. Communications, transportation, electrical grids. You exist in multiple overlapping systems without fully comprehending their interconnections, the resonant continued. This creates inefficiencies and conflicts that limit your development. Are you offering to help us optimize? Marcus asked. The resonant's form shimmered slightly. We are offering perspective. The choice of what to do with it remains yours. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Commander Rodriguez rushed to the security console. Multiple launches detected from Earth, she announced grimly. Intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear payloads, trajectory calculated to intercept the alien vessel. Who authorized this? Ileana demanded, horrified. Eva's face hardened. No authorization code. It appears to be a unilateral action by a coalition of military hardliners from multiple nations. The resonant showed no visible reaction to this news. How interesting, it observed, with what almost sounded like curiosity. We detected similar aggressive impulses in your historical data. You truly do attack what you do not understand. You have to do something, Sanjay urged. Those missiles will reach your vessel in minutes. Yes, the resonant agreed simply. They will. On the display, they watched as 6 nuclear missiles streaked toward the crystalline structure in geostationary orbit. The station crew held their breath, expecting evasive maneuvers or defensive countermeasures. Instead, when the missiles reached their target, they simply disappeared. No explosion, no impact. They entered the space occupied by the alien vessel and ceased to exist. What happened? Marcus whispered. Phase shift, the resonant explained. We temporarily relocated those portions of space-time to a different dimensional configuration. Eva stared at the alien. You can just remove things from reality. Reality is more malleable than you currently understand, came the reply. This is among the many concepts we hope to share with your species, though perhaps not through this particular demonstration. The communication systems suddenly activated, showing security feeds from multiple Earth locations. Military bases were experiencing unexplained power outages. Weapon systems worldwide reported spontaneous shutdowns. No casualties, no destruction, just a surgical disabling of humanity's capacity to further threaten the visitors. We have temporarily adjusted your defensive capabilities, the resonant stated. This action is protective, not punitive. We bear no ill will for your attempted attack. Global chaos ensued. Emergency broadcasts declared various states of alert. Political leaders demanded explanations that military commanders couldn't provide. And through it all, the resonants continued their interface with Earth's systems, seemingly unconcerned by the panic they had caused. 2 days later, in the early hours of the morning, Ileana sat alone in her private quarters, reviewing the communications patterns from the resonants. Something had been bothering her, a recurring motif in their transmissions that seemed familiar yet just beyond her comprehension. She had created a visual mapping of their data transfers, displayed now as a three-dimensional construct floating above her desk. Patterns within patterns, rhythmic pulses of information with distinctive cadences. "It's almost like music," she murmured to herself, then froze as realization struck. She rapidly pulled up Earth's own transmission history, radio waves, television broadcasts, internet traffic, and overlaid the patterns. The similarity was striking. Earth's communications had a distinctive rhythm, a unique signature unlike anything else in the known universe. And the resonance transmissions were now synchronizing with that rhythm, adapting to match it. "They're not just talking to us," Ileana whispered. "They're harmonizing with us." She rushed to the main laboratory where Sanjay was monitoring the visitors' latest data exchange. "I need to speak with them," she said urgently. "All of them, together." Minutes later, all three resonant entities had assembled in the station's conference room. Their forms seemed more stable now, less fluid, as if they were becoming more accustomed to manifesting in human-compatible space. "You've discovered something," the central entity observed before Ileana could speak. She nodded, activating the holographic display to show her analysis. "You called us the Resonance when you arrived. I think I understand now. Humanity's combined consciousness, our communications, our creative output, they generate a unique pattern in the underlying fabric of reality. That's what drew you here." "Yes," all three resonants confirmed simultaneously. "But it's more than that," Ileana continued. "You're not just observers. You're participating in the pattern, enhancing it, like instruments joining an orchestra." The right resonance surface rippled with light patterns, an apt metaphor. Throughout the cosmos, consciousness exists in many forms, but rarely does it achieve the particular harmonic complexity that your species has developed. "Your art, your music, your stories," the left entity added. "These are not mere cultural artifacts. They are manipulations of reality at a fundamental level that your science has not yet recognized." Ileana leaned forward. "That's why you disabled the weapons but did nothing more. You're not invaders. We are amplifiers," the central resonance stated. "We have traveled across vast distances, encountering many sentient species. Most exist in isolation, their consciousness bound to their physical forms and immediate environments. But a few, a precious few, generate resonance patterns that extend beyond their planet, beyond their understanding. And humanity is one of these few," Sanjay said, having quietly entered during the conversation. "You are the most recent we have discovered," the right entity confirmed, "and potentially among the most significant." Commander Rodriguez had also arrived, standing silently by the door. "Significant how?" she asked. The three resonants moved closer together, their forms partially merging as they spoke in perfect unison. "The universe is conscious. Not as you understand consciousness, but in its fundamental structure. What you call physical laws are expressions of this cosmic consciousness. And through your art, your music, your imagination, your species has been unconsciously communicating with this greater awareness." The implications staggered everyone present. Humanity, for all its perceived insignificance in the vast cosmos, had been unwittingly engaged in a dialogue with the universe itself. "Your myths of gods hearing prayers," the central resonant continued, separating slightly from the others. "Your instinctive attribution of meaning to coincidence, your sense of connection to something beyond yourselves. These are not delusions. They are imperfect recognitions of a truth your science has not yet measured." "And you?" Ileana asked. "What are you in this cosmic conversation?" "We are translators," came the reply, "evolved from beings not unlike yourselves, who discovered the resonance and learned to exist within it, to amplify it. We help emerging resonant species understand their place in the greater harmony." "Why now?" Marcus asked, having joined the growing group. "Why not contact us when we were more advanced, more united?" The left resonant moved forward. "Because now is when you need us most. Your species approaches a critical juncture. Your technology has outpaced your wisdom. Your capacity for destruction rivals your capacity for creation. The choice between harmony and discord lies before you. Silence fell as the humans absorbed this. It was Aisha who finally spoke, her voice quiet but clear. "You're offering to help us avoid self-destruction. We are offering perspective." All three resonants corrected simultaneously. "The choice remains yours." Over the next 48 hours, representatives from Earth's major nations were shuttled to Horizon's edge. Scientists, philosophers, artists, and leaders from diverse fields and cultures gathered in the hastily expanded conference facilities. The resonants presented their case, not through demands or warnings, but through demonstrations of how reality itself responded to human creativity, human consciousness, human intention. They showed how the electromagnetic emissions of human brains in states of artistic creation, deep meditation, or collective purpose generated ripples in space-time that extended far beyond Earth. They revealed how these ripples intersected with similar patterns from elsewhere in the universe, creating complex interference patterns that influenced the development of stars, the formation of planets, the very evolution of life itself. "You are not passive observers in an indifferent universe," the resonance explained to the assembled representatives. "You are participants in its ongoing creation." The revelation sparked intense debate. Some rejected the concept entirely, seeing it as a threat to established religious or scientific worldviews. Others embraced it as confirmation of ancient spiritual teachings. Still others approached it analytically, demanding measurable evidence and repeatable experiments. Through it all, the resonance remained patient, answering questions, providing demonstrations, allowing each human to process the paradigm shift in their own way. On the 7th day since the resonance arrival, they announced their intention to depart. "We have initiated the conversation," they explained. "Now you must continue it among yourselves." "But there's so much more to learn," Ileana protested. "Yes," the central resonant agreed, "and that learning must occur at a pace your species can integrate. We will leave behind interfaces that will allow continued communication, but the next steps must be yours." Before departing, the resonants made one final demonstration. They invited everyone aboard Horizon's Edge to participate in what they called a conscious resonance exercise, a guided meditation focused on a simple concept: peace. As the humans concentrated, the resonants amplified their collective mental pattern, projecting it outward. On view screens throughout the station, they watched as the pattern spread across Earth like a gentle wave. Wherever it passed, conflicts paused. Anger subsided. For one brief moment, a species known for its divisions experienced a glimpse of unity. "This is your potential," the resonance said, "not imposed from without, but generated from within." Their vessel detached from the station and moved slowly away. As a final gesture, it reconfigured itself into a shape recognizable to every human present, a perfect double helix, the structure of DNA, the blueprint of life itself. "We leave you with a truth your poets have always known," the resonant's final transmission stated. "You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. Remember this, and let it guide your evolution." The vessel shimmered once, brightly, then disappeared from conventional reality, not with a dramatic flash or implosion, but with a gentle fading, like a thought transitioning seamlessly into a dream. In the days that followed, humanity began the long process of integrating what they had learned. The interfaces left by the resonance provided access to knowledge that would transform science, medicine, energy production, and environmental management. But more profound was the philosophical transformation, the recognition that consciousness itself was a fundamental force in the cosmos, and humanity's creative potential a resource more valuable than any material wealth. International cooperation accelerated as nations recognized their shared stake in developing this potential. Research centers dedicated to studying the resonance emerged on every continent. Artists and scientists collaborated in unprecedented ways, exploring the tangible effects of creative expression on physical reality. 1 month after the departure, Ileana stood alone in the observation deck of Horizon's Edge, gazing out at the stars. The universe looked different to her now, not a cold void with scattered islands of life, but a vast, interconnected consciousness of which humanity was both part and participant. Her tablet chimed, displaying the latest data from the Resonance Monitoring Network. Across Earth, the harmony was growing stronger, more coherent. Humanity wasn't just making noise in the cosmos anymore. They were learning to sing. And somewhere among the stars, she knew, the resonance were listening, not as distant observers, but as fellow voices in the universal core. Humanity had taken its first steps beyond isolation, beyond the limitations of a purely material understanding, into a new era of cosmic citizenship. The anomaly that had appeared without warning 7 weeks earlier had indeed changed everything. But the true anomaly, Ileana now understood, had been humanity itself, a species capable of reaching beyond its physical boundaries through the sheer power of its collective imagination, resonating with the conscious universe in ways they were only beginning to comprehend. She smiled as she watched a new satellite deploy from the station, the first of a network designed to amplify Earth's resonance pattern, broadcasting humanity's creative consciousness outward into the cosmos like a beacon. Not a distress signal, not a warning, but an invitation to join the conversation that had been ongoing since the first stars ignited, the grand dialogue between consciousness and creation that was the true language of the universe.